Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Shri Harinam Sankirtanam ki Srila Prabhupada ki Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatir Tamashloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Hare Krishna. So today we are going to take shelter of the eternal instructions of Srila Prahlad Maharaj. We will be reading today from the 7th canto Srimad Bhagavatam. This is chapter 6, text. We'll start with text 1. And we're supposed to touch on 1 to 6. Okay. So we'll begin with chapter 6, text 1. So these are Prahlad Maharaj's instructions to the demoniac schoolmates. So is this visible to all of you? Visible, Prabhu? Arvind? We'll begin. श्रीप्रह्लादुवाच कौमारमाचरेत् प्राज्ञो धर्मान् भागवतानिह दुर्लभं मानुषं जन्म तदपि अध्रुवमर्थदम् श्रीप्रह्लादुवाच कौमारमाचरेत् प्राज्ञो धर्मान् भागवतानिह दुर्लभं मानुषं जन्म तदपि अध्रुवमर्थदम् श्रीप्रह्लादुवाच कौमारमाचरेत् प्राज्ञो धर्मान् भागवतानिह दुर्लभं मानुषं जन्म तदपि अध्रुवमर्थदम्. Please repeat. धर्मान् भागवतानिह दुर्लभं मानुषं जन्म श्रीप्रह्लादुवाच श्रीप्रह्लादुवाच कौमारमाचरेत् प्राज्ञो धर्मान् भागवतानिह दुर्लभं मानुषं जन्म तदपि अध्रुवमर्थदम्. श्रीप्रह्लादुवाच धर्मान् भागवतानिह दुर्लभं मानुषं जन्म तदपि अध्रुवम्. Mataji's. श्रीप्रह्लादुवाच कौमारमाचरेत् प्राज्ञो धर्मान् भागवतानिह Shri Prahlad Uvacha. Prahlad Maharaj said, Kaumara, in the tender age of childhood, Acharya should practice. Pragya, one who is intelligent. Dharman, occupational duties. Bhagavatam, which are devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Iha, in this life. Durlabham, very rarely obtained. Manusham, human. Janma, birth. Tat, that. Api, even. Adhruvam, impermanent or temporary. Arthadam, full of meaning. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Prahlad Maharaj said, one who is sufficiently intelligent should use the human form of body from the very beginning of life. In other words, from the tender age of childhood, to practice the activities of devotional service, giving up all other engagements. The human body is most rarely achieved. And although temporary, like other bodies, it is meaningful. Because in human life, one can perform devotional service. Even a slight amount of sincere devotional service can give one complete perfection. Purport. The whole purpose of Vedic civilization and of reading the Vedas is to attain the perfect stage of devotional service in the human form of life. According to the Vedic system, therefore, from the very beginning of life, the Brahmacharya system is introduced so that from one's very childhood, from the age of 5 years, one can practice modifying one's human activities so as to engage perfectly in devotional service. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 240, Swalpam api yasya dharmasya tarayate mahato bhayat. Even a little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. Modern civilization, not referring to the verdicts of the Vedic literature, is so cruel to the members of the human society that instead of teaching children to become brahmacharis, it teaches mothers to kill their children even in the womb, on the plea of curbing the increase of population. And if by chance a child is saved, he is educated only for sense gratification. Gradually, throughout the entire world, human society is losing interest in the perfection of life. Indeed, men are living like cats and dogs, spoiling the duration of their human lives by actually preparing to transmigrate again to the degraded species among the 84 lakh forms of life. The Krishna consciousness movement is anxious to serve human society by teaching people to perform devotional service which can save a human being from being degraded again to animal life. As already stressed by Prahlad Maharaj, Bhagavad Dharma consists of Shavanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Pada Sevanam archanam vandanam dasyam sakhyam atma nivedanam. In all schools, colleges, and universities, and at home, all children and youths should be taught to hear about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In other words, they should be taught to hear the instructions of Bhagavad Gita, to put them into practice in their lives, and thus to become strong in devotional service, free from the fear of being degraded to animal life. Following Bhagavad Dharma has been made extremely easy in this age of Kali. The Shastra says, Harer Nama, Harer Nama, Harer Namaiva Kevalam, Kalo Nasti Eva, Nasti Eva, Nasti Eva Gatiranyatha. One need only chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Everyone engaged in the practice of chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra will be completely cleansed from the core of the heart and be saved from the cycle of birth and death. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Tam Sajivam Sadavaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Niravishesha Shunyavadi Pashyatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratvishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Shri Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Nilachala Nivasaya Nityaya Paramatmane Balabhadra Subhadrabhyam Shri Jagannathaya Te Namaha Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhai evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam, panghum langayate girim. Yat kripatamaham vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam. Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanyam Ishwaram. So I seek the blessings of all the devotees assembled here, so that we can make a miniature humble attempt to glorify the Supreme Lord and to be absorbed in those glories. One who is sufficiently intelligent should use the human form of body from the very beginning of life. In other words, from the tender age of childhood, to practice the activities of devotional service, giving up all other engagements. The human body is most rarely achieved, and although temporary like other bodies, it is meaningful because in human life one can perform devotional service. Even a slight amount of sincere devotional service can give one complete perfection. Srila Prahlad Maharaj is very emphatically stressing here that these practices of devotional service should be inculcated and adhered to right from the beginning of one's life. Right from childhood. Because these practices of devotional service are so potent and powerful that they can elevate anyone. Irrespective of one's past biodata. And therefore, here, Srila Prahlad Maharaj is sharing with his demoniac schoolmates the greatest treasure, the most effective algorithms for transformation, the most efficient methodologies and strategies for emancipation. And in fact, in this way, we see Srila Prahlad Maharaj is sharing this treasure with all of us. Our situation is not much different, with all the demoniac tendencies lurking in our hearts. In smaller or greater amounts, does not matter. The point of caution is that these demoniac traits breed exponentially. These demoniac traits breed exponentially. And because these demoniac traits breed exponentially, therefore we can see that this material world, which is resting on the platform of illusion, appears to be a perennial platform where one can just go on and on and on for eternity. It is this breeding power. So we can see the basis of this material world has no substance in it. It is shallow, it's hollow, it's a phantasmagoria. Srila Prabhupada explains it as horse's eggs. The idea of being happy without Krishna is horse's eggs. Is just like possessing horse's eggs. Prabhupada explains Ghoda Dimba. How many of you have seen horse's eggs? Some of you may not be immediately remembering. Horses don't give eggs. That's the basic figment of understanding. Now that doesn't require a PhD to be able to understand that yes, horses don't give eggs. What are we searching for then? Horses' eggs. Srila Prabhupada explains. He gives another example, flowers in the sky. So the materialistic ambition is all about making different garlands of flowers in the sky. Okay. I with my passion, I'll achieve and pluck out those flowers and make a unique garland. Garlanding myself and being so this is the kind of materialistic drives we see. But the point to note is that this entire foundation of this material world is so flimsy. So when we make a building, it has a very solid, strong foundation. And if it has a very solid, strong foundation, then that building stands. Now, so if a mountain is like this, it's very strong at the bottom, it will stand stably. But the material world is opposite, topsy-turvy. And still, it continues to bind us for a long, long time. Jai Shri Nitai Gauranga Bhagavan ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Still it continues to bind us for a long, long time. Why so? Why so? When the substantiality is flimsy, then how can the binding effect be so strong? And the reason is because of this exponential breeding capacity. No one flavor in this material world can bind us for a long time. Can it? How many people stick to, say, one particular song throughout their lives? One song may be in the top 10, 20, whatever series, uh, for some time, for a few weeks, for a few months. And then even if it is superb in its composition and in its every fabric, still people get saturated. They said, okay, it's okay now, something new. So any one figment of the any one figment of uh, the material energy we will see uh, cannot bind us, no matter however appealing and attractive it is. Uh, Similarly, can we? That's true for everything. Similarly, can we eat the same prasadam every same menu, same item, even if it is the most favorite, cherished item? Say one likes Chinese, can he take Chinese throughout the year? Very difficult. No such one flavor can bind us. That's how we can understand that material nature is composed of building blocks which are hollow. Because every such building block is hollow. Because it doesn't bind us for long. It doesn't bind us for long. Sometimes people crave for movies and they are waiting for their mega superstar whatever movie to come for months and years, and they are craving, and that bubble gets busted in 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever, is it not? Ah. Is there anyone who watches a movie 100 times, 1,000 times? Impossible, is it not? Impossible. So the point is, the building blocks of this material world are shallow, hollow. That means each and every building block, the amount of substantiality it is offering to us, the amount of satisfaction and happiness it is offering to us, is very minuscule. It's tending to zero. And the basic point of philosophy, or the basic point to understand, is zeros do not integrate to make one into a hero. That's the point. How can zeros integrate to make one into a hero? Just like when you make a building, we are making building blocks of, so it's earth, it's solid earth, and that is baked, and then it is now mixed with cement and iron and so on, and that's how the building stands. Can someone make a building with water? Can someone make a building with gases? Yeah, impossible, is it not? So how can we make up our life with these desires for sense gratification? It's gaseous. Yeah. It's gaseous. And therefore, Srila Prahlad Maharaj is appealing here that therefore there is no point in even trying it out because it is so flimsy. So many times people say that it requires one to gain some experience. And that is one of the biggest traps in the material world. The idea that let me gain some experience is the biggest trap in this material world. Because the moment we start interfacing and tasting the platform of sense gratification, immediately The avenues for sense gratification, our attachments and our weird ideas for the various for various the various kinds of sense gratification starts breeding exponentially, and one sees such a long list waiting to be tasted. So it's like that's the point. It's like being surrounded with uh, it's just like Dhruv Maharaj on the battlefield with Yakshas, and being surrounded with thousands of arrows, so much so he's not visible. In that way, you see, we get bombarded with material desires, the proposals for material enjoyment. And therefore, Srila Prahlad Maharaj is appealing to all of us to understand the urgency, not to just keep on trying it out. How much we will try. There is no end to illusions. Because reality is one and illusions are infinite. And when that infinite, when those infinite variations recombine with each other, the permutations, combinations go to be infinitely infinite. And that eternalizes the temporality, or that eternalizes the temporary. And one is never able to come out of it. That is why Srila Nityananda Maharaj describes that we should not flirt with the material energy, because it is very risky and dangerous. Better to be on the main business of the human form of life instantly, immediately, exclusively. That is the message which Srila Prahlad Maharaj is appealing to all of us. Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport that right from the childhood, what is supposed to be taught is the principles of brahmacharya, strict abstinence from avenues for sense gratification, and inculcating absorption of servitude towards the Lord and the devotees of the Lord. So these principles are supposed to be taught from the very childhood. But Srila Prabhupada explains that uh, you see, the unfortunate situation of the modern day world is that instead of teaching brahmacharya, mothers are being taught to kill the children in the womb. All for the sake of temporary, flimsy, miniature sense gratification. And what Prabhupada is saying is not an exaggeration. It is literally the line of the world. That yes, there is such a colossal uh, murder of children in the womb that somehow somebody survives by mistake. Then one is dunked into the education of sense gratification. This is the state of affairs. This is the state of affairs. I had personally heard directly from devotees in Melbourne when I was there. Many devotees, they were sharing how they, they heard their parents saying that their birth was a mistake. They were just not. They just So Prabhupada, what Prabhupada is saying is not an exaggeration. It's literally the case. Uh, uh, so I've heard devotees who've heard from their mother that you're not supposed to be born. Your birth was a mistake. That's the case of affairs. So the point is this sorry state of affairs, this demoniac lifestyle, which is based on these demoniac principles, uh, is very dangerous and hazardous. So what we have to learn is that, and on top of that, we see that not only this not only in this material world there is orientation towards sense gratification, but there is continuous intense bombardment towards sense gratification, which everybody faces. That continuous bombardment of sense gratification which everybody faces. And the point to note is that so there is constant hammering. We are not left out anywhere. A person is not left out anywhere. That bombardment of sense gratification is so strong and so strong and so strong. Anytime one starts getting disgusted with life, one starts experiencing misery, agony in life, new proposals are offered to him. So he thinks, okay, maybe let me try out another proposal. It didn't work out last time, it will work out this time, this time, this time. This is what is happening. So it's just like when Ashwadhama released the Brahmastra, that Brahmastra was destroying the entire world. It was so powerful. And when Arjuna, not understanding, completely bewildered what to do, took shelter of Lord Krishna. And Lord Krishna told him that yes, this Brahmastra can be countered by another Brahmastra only. No other technique is going to work out. No other technique is going to work out. So no mundane adjustment algorithms, counteractive algorithms, preventive algorithms are going to work. A Brahmastra is countered by Brahmastra. And it is this counter Brahmastra which Srila Prahlad Maharaj is revealing to all of us. Dharman Bhagavatani. That these practices of devotional service are so powerful that it can counteract the Brahmastra of the materialistic desires. That attachment which appears to be permanent, which appears to be ever existing and never ceasing. That attachment can be washed off by these practices of devotional service. And that's why Srila Prahlad Maharaj is actually offering this solution. Prahlad Maharaj is not only offering this solution to his demoniac schoolmates. No. So his demonic schoolmates had little demoniac tendencies. They were small. So their demoniac tendencies were small. No? But Srila Prahlad Maharaj offered the same solution to the epitome of demonism also. No? Shri Hiranyakashipu. Prem Sarupu was very nicely explaining yesterday. So he offered the solution. So Hiranyakashipu asked Srila Prahlad Maharaj 3 times, and 3 different times. He wanted to test, what have you learnt? Can you summarize the essence of what you have learnt? The best of your learnings. 3 times. And the first one, Prem Sarupu was highlighting yesterday, in which he was telling Hiranyakashipu that your future is dark because you're attached to this sense gratification. Your future is dark and bleak, and nothing auspicious can happen in your life unless you go to the association of devotees, you go to Vrindavan, you take association of the devotees and take shelter of them, and smear and bathe in the dust of their lotus feet. Then auspiciousness can dawn. So Hiranyakashipu, hearing that, he surcharged his Professor Shandan Amarka to take some intense crash courses to be able to set right the situation, and on emergency calling. And then again he called him for the test, and that time Srila Prahlad Maharaj is explaining, and that time he explains this verse: Shavanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Padasevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakyam Atmanivedanam. That you please adopt these practices of devotional service. And the third time Hiranyakashipu was again asking, that was last chance. This is last time I'm asking, some, if you can tell me something worthwhile, And that time Prahlad Maharaj said, you are simply chewing the chewed. Your head has grown screwed up and you're simply chewed, chewing the chewed. So Srila Prahlad Maharaj is offering. See, this is the topmost. This is the topmost treasure of devotional service. These simple practices of devotional service, Shravanam, Kirtanam, which will lead us to a state of Smaranam, Archanam, Vandanam. Especially the first 7 of them, as the Acharyas explained. These are very simple. These are practices. They don't require a state of focus or tuning. They don't require a state of focus or tuning. Like if you are working, like many scientific experiments, first you have to bring the apparatus to a state in which it can work. Like if you're working with lasers, 3 hours you will have to spend tuning it only, unless the focal of the focal range of the various lenses is adjusted to one single coherent thing, you cannot start the experiment. So it's complex, it's complicated. But these practices are so simple. It doesn't require any prerequisite. It is as simple as sitting and eating prasad. Do we need a training course on how to eat prasad? Which item to eat? No. No. So we don't need anything. We just need to put it in. Is it not? No? If you put it in, automatically the taste comes out. No? We don't have to prepare our. No, we don't have to do any sort of preparation that to bring out that taste. Something has to be done. We have to go to gym, run some 5 kilometers, come back. Not then nothing is required. Actually, you just put the prasad, and taste comes out. In a similar way, now it is all about these practices of devotional service. We just take in. It's all about eating and feeding. It's all about taking in, and we take in the taste. The transcendental flavors are going to come on their own. And therefore, Prabhupada explains in the preface of Srimad Bhagavatam, or in the introduction, I believe, that this message of Srimad Bhagavatam is so potent and so powerful that as one goes through this message, from the first canto to the 12th canto, as one goes on drinking, inculcating, imbibing, it can make a crude man into a pure devotee. So devotional service is so potent. These one aspects are so potent. Yesterday Prem Srupu was quoting so wonderfully. He was quoting Srila Prabhupada, and Prabhupada was telling that no problem even if material desires are there. You go on taking in Krishna consciousness, it will overtake, it will overwhelm in due course of time. No problem, there is internal. So there is internal, external conflict. So even if there is internal conflict and there is a battle, no problem. We just keep taking in and in and in. And therefore Prabhupada is stressing on the need to make the program of imparting the glories of the Lord to everyone all the time. That program is very essential. So Krishna consciousness is very potent. And Srila Prabhupada is explaining in the purport so powerfully that especially in this age, the process of emancipation has been made very, very easy. And there Srila Prabhupada is quoting Harid 𝐂𝐻𝐌𝐌𝐔𝐍𝐈𝐓𝐘. That simply by the holy names, simply by chanting the holy names, there is going to be, simply by chanting the holy names, that transformation is going to come up. A crude man can become a pure devotee. So we see in the 6th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, in the pastimes of Ajamila. Now you see, Ajamila was performing all the prescribed practices for spiritual emancipation and elevation of that age, the recommended practices, which was there in the culture. His father was very, his family, they had imparted a good culture, a spiritual, God-centric culture, and he was engaged in all those practices, and he was taking it also. He was not a rebellious child. He was not a black sheep. So he was not a black sheep. He was a good boy. So he was a good boy. He was taking in all those practices, and he was wanting to. So he went to the forest not for doing some sense gratification. He didn't wanted to shoot some African safari. Something like that. And for that reason, he did not go to the. So he went for making arrangements for worship of Lord Vishnu. That was the simple fabric. But the point was, you see. And then it is highlighted that yes, so he saw that sensual side of a low class man and woman engaged in sinful activities, sensual activities. And he saw that side once. And he saw that, he got shocked, he got hit, he got affected. And he came back. He did come back. So So he came back, he might have been, when he came back, there would be the worship of Lord Vishnu going on, is it not? But then it is explained that you see, we are able to see that Ajamil, that one sight shook him up. That one sight shook him up. So much so that he could not hold on to his practices. And thereby he degraded to a very unfortunate lifestyle. He became a thief, he became a murderer just to satisfy that prostitute. So we know that pastime. Now the point is that, you see, the material energy, one contaminated sight is so powerful that it can shake a well-situated Brahman like Ajamila so badly. Now the point to muse over is this. That in today's world, this kind of waves of contamination have increased unimaginably. And there are these contaminated, provoking situations and scenes all around, waiting to just enter our existence. Right? So therefore the point to muse over is this, that you see these, so how many contaminated sensual scenes we have seen? Can we count? Can we? Ajamil saw one, there is a mention of that. We don't have to mention, but can we count for ourselves? Can we count for ourselves? That list is huge. That list is huge. So therefore the point which comes is that, how are we still able to continue to practice devotional service? Ajamil was bowled out. One ball only, Yorker. It's out. Bowled out. Not man of the match, out of the match. So now what is happening in our case? Because the modus operandi, things are seeming to work a little differently in our case. Because in our case, there are balls after balls which are coming. And still we don't seem to be bowled out. So, what is the secret? What is the secret? So, okay, here is a devotee and he's not getting bowled out. Yorker after Yorker, he's continuing. Is he the next Acharya in the making? So, what is the point? So that's the question actually. So this is the point to be able to muse over. Now Ajamil got bowled out in one ball only, and we are facing balls after balls after balls. The answer to this is given by Srila Prabhupada here. The answer to this is given by Srila Prabhupada here. That in this age, the practices of devotional service which are offered to us are very easy and very potent. The problem with Ajamil was his examination criteria was very tough. Question paper was very tough. Syllabus was huge. You know, like that. You know. For us, the syllabus is also simple. You know. Marking criteria is also simple. Not just the syllabus is simple. So when we say that these processes of bhakti are simple, that means not only that it is simple to perform, and it is seen with a very simple marking system also. You know, that is the point. So in evaluation matrix, like you see, very simple marking system, is it not? Like, temple commander will come in the morning and he is going to see, or his representative, so he is just going to see, are you there or not? So what he is seeing is just the physical presence, is it not? But there are layers of presence, is it not? So, so what is seen is something very simple, is it not? And it's okay, he is there. Every day he comes for Mangalarti, you know. Every day he sits for chanting, So, he's not going anywhere, He's sitting in the temple hall, Now where we are going, we only know, So the point is that, but the marking system is also very simple, is it not? That is the point. So this goes to show that these, these practices of Krishna consciousness are very, very potent. The Shravanam Kirtanam is very, very potent. And therefore, all we need to do is to eat and feed ourselves with the Krishna Katha and the glories of the Supreme Lord. And that is the only program that is required. And that is the only program which can actually create auspiciousness in the world also. So actually, we should take lessons from the materialistic civilization, the lesson of the principle of bombardment. That yes, when something as flimsy, as hollow as these transient material pleasures can be so powerful and entangling that so when the temporary transient product is eternalized by bombardment, what about the eternal product? What about that eternal product? So that's the point. See, therefore it is said, just like it is said that okay, if we commit a mistake, we should repent. We should cry. We should bang our head against the wall. So yeah. So that's what. So the point is now the bombardment. So we should bang head where? Should bang our head with Krishna Katha. Should put lot of, so we bombard ourselves with more and more Krishna Katha. When we make a mistake, we bombard ourselves more with Krishna Katha. More with Krishna. So it is this bombardment principle. So we should take, and therefore Prabhupada is telling that this is what is the Krishna consciousness movement is very anxious to teach people how to perform this devotional service, to bombard people's lives with the glories of the Supreme Lord. And that is what can create a revolution in the impious lives of the misdirected civilization. As Srila Prabhupada says, each and every glory of the Lord is so potent and so powerful. And so that is why rather this should be our meditation. So we see that okay, now Lord Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is coaxing all of us that yes, we should be instruments, we should be hands in the we should become Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's hands in distributing this mercy, these mangoes of mercy which don't have any skin, which don't have any seed, which are all nectar, and we should become Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's hands. And Srila Prabhupada is emphasizing the same. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is emphasizing the same. Now the interesting point is, you see, if you try to see, the interesting point is that so all of them are trying to emphasize the same. Now But we see our position is what? That time and again we get a slap from material energy. Time and again desires for sense gratification overpower us. And time and again we land up, having a slap, having a knock by material energy. So there is that internal battle which is always there. There is that internal battle which is always there actually. So now, so how this idea of being engaged or or absorbed in the preaching of being an instrument in the preaching mission works. What about the internal conflict? What about so how it works? The point is that you see the the attempt to preach, the struggle to preach, the fervor to preach is so powerful. See, if we try to say that just an attempt to preach will make us practice all these 9 activities of devotional service. So the idea of preaching, the activity of preaching is so powerful and wonderful that it forces us to practice all these activities of devotional service. So when we go out and start preaching, that is first time when we actually go, when we actually explore deeper trajectories of serious Shravanam. Now we have to speak. And sometimes we may go and we may prepare a 2-hour lecture, may end in 30 minutes. And people are saying, so early, Prabhu. Then they say, okay, you have stopped speaking. I'll ask questions now. When they ask questions, we need Smaranam also. Because he's asking a question, we'll say, so we are forced. So we are forced to Smaranam. Arey, question puch liya to kya hoga? So like that, Smaranam, is it not? And then we, and then people say, okay, show us a demonstration now. Now we say, okay, bring people to a camp, we bring them to voice, and so then we have to get up early in the morning. We have to clean the temple hall, do deity worship, teach people how to do deity worship, teach them how to offer prayers, the Mangalarati prayers. So each and every limb of these devotional activities we are forced to perform. So therefore, the beauty of the Acharya, the mercy of the Acharya is so overwhelming and so exciting that you see the point is, if we, what's happening is that, so there are 2 things, there is an internal conflict. We have to battle with Maya. There is an infection within, and we have to struggle and fight with that. That's one problem which is going on. And on the next level, the Acharyas are telling that's okay. That purification is going to take place, but you focus on, helping other people in solving their problems, in giving them, and your focus, your problem statement of research and focus and meditation and absorption should be how to give Krishna consciousness to the varied kinds of people with all their weird tendencies, like that, is it not? He said you focus on that. Now, so, and that's also and that's also quite challenging, so that's also quite challenging. Every university to preach, it's quite a challenge, because everyone, every university, every college, every setting, every locality, they have their own mindset, and one has to understand that and then address it sensitively and maturely. Some college people are very intelligent, therefore they don't accept. Some college people are very dumb, therefore they don't accept. So, so it's like, so it's so it's not a simple problem to crack. It's not like making khichdi. Okay, put rice dal and put it in the cooker, with some salt, and it'll come out. It's not like that. It requires a great sense of. It requires very deep involvement. The moment we say yes and take the responsibility, very deep involvement is required. Like that. So now, so there is a battle. That's also a battle, like that, So the point is, you see, what the Acharyas are doing. The point is that when we what the Acharyas, see, you see, the Acharyas' mercy is so amazing. That what the Acharyas have done, and the Lord has done very mercifully. So if we are only focused, and what is there in our vision is Maya, and Maya with all her demoniac, if we actually, greed, envy, lust, if we actually visualize them as demons, Bhagavatam also visualizes them like that, So, uh, Bhagavatam also visualizes them like that. They are all brothers, sisters. One comes, another one also comes. So if you visualize them like that, and we have to battle with them, and every time you're seeing bloodshed is happening, it's very gory. Uh, it's very horrifying. It's very frightful situation. Every time will be we'll be just worried about wounds, and there's bloodshed, and all these demoniac visualizations of envy and all these uh, so it's going to be really intense and horrifying experience. So what the Acharyas have done is that the same battle, they have given us an equivalent. They have said, okay, your internal territory, it's not in your capacity. You forget about it. You observe yourself in this external battle. And now this is this battle of, okay, how do you Krishna this? And then we are going to hostel rooms, and we are seeing people are locking the rooms. So that's a kind of challenge. They're locking the rooms, but when we see, okay, above that door of the room is a ventilator, and we can climb the ventilator and enter and say, hey, I caught you, come for the program. So it's a battle and challenge, but now that challenge is very thrilling and exciting, And sometimes you are going and you are seeing that boy, he's my boy, and that boy is doing PSI, Yeah. So he is turning his face off, he's trying to dodge off, yeah. So PSI is a Kharagpur's terminology, common lingo, it means pehchanne se inkar, PSI. He's trying to dodge off, he's trying to dodge off, as if he is not seen and not recognized, like that, And now you see, hey, bhag raha hai, And now you go running after him, Hare Krishna, and you catch him from the back, and he's like, and say, aur kaise ho, ye lo prasad. So it's very exciting, So it's very exciting, So, it's very exciting. So good results, bad results, both are exciting, Because sometimes you can laugh out, Okay, what all ways, and what all excuses people give for not coming for the camp. So sometimes you can laugh it out, So you see the whole, this is also a battle, This is also a battle, So this is also a battle, but it's a very exciting battle. I remember first time, I had learnt in Pune, how to distribute Bhagavad Gita in bus, And it was a very bold thing, The devotee would just knock, part, and everybody is watching. And then he starts saying, hey, Bhagavad Gita, hey, Ghiya Bhaga, Oh, Marathi, So, like that, So I tried it out, Nobody was listening also, And I thought, arey, ye kya hai, Nobody is listening. So I started, so I was praying to Prabhupada and all the acharyas I was remembering, and I was just waving the Gita, nothing else to do, and I was just repeating the same. And nobody was hearing also, like that, And then an old gentleman called me, He said, please come here. He took the Gita, So I got very encouraged, Oh, he took the Gita, But he took the Gita out of compassion, Okay, He's such a young boy, he's studying and all to manage studies, he's distributing, religious books, I should help him, like that he thought, So, but anyhow, the whole experience is very exciting, like that. So you see, but what is actually happening, where we are fighting, so we are thrilled and excited and joyful in the preaching mission, and we are having camps, and we are having celebrations, and sometimes in the camp, even if some boys don't come, we don't want that. But even if they don't come, it doesn't matter, because anyways we are there to take prasad and enjoy the ocean in Jagannath Puri, and I mean, it's okay, we'll try again next year, but There's no loss in preaching, At least one person is becoming a devotee, So the whole point is that, you see, the battlefield is so exciting. It's so enjoyable. We just want to play and play and play. And you may say, hey, सो रहा है. अच्छा, माया की लैब में सो रहा है. तो pinch मारते हैं ना, जल्दी से मारते हैं ना. So we are excited to pinch this person, that person, and here and there, So, one time I was giving end semester examination, So some issue was there. A professor passed a comment. He was the HOD of electrical, So I gave a counter answer. I was sitting in the first. So he got excited, He started coming and discussing, spiritual subject matters. Okay, what about the ritual? What is spiritual and all that, And then, 5-10 minutes, 10 minutes I discussed with him. After that, I was feeling, hey, it's an end semester examination, So I said, sir, please, So life can become very exciting. So you see, one is actually, but where one is actually fighting. So this external battleground, which is so exciting and so adventurous and so thrilling, just by fighting and struggling on this ground, one is actually fighting on the internal battleground where there are these demoniac tendencies and traits in our hearts, which is intense and gory and horrifying and bloodshed and all that. But we are taken off from that intense atmosphere, that horrifying, frightful atmosphere. So as one now becomes more and more absorbed in the preaching mission, in trying to, in whatever crooked ways or little bit ways, whatever ways we can share Krishna consciousness, we are actually battling against mountains and mountains of anarthas which are there in our heart. And as we go on, one batch after another, okay, this Sankalpa, 10 boys, next Sankalpa, 12 boys, no, not Sankalpa, Utkarsha, sorry, Sankalpa is, so from Utkarsha, the year end, right? So the first year end of the training. So one Utkarsha after another, what is happening is that we are actually having that, so one is having that internal conflict. I mean, one is actually, progressing, winning in that, internal conflict, and the heart is getting purified in proportion. But in what? A sweet and thrilling and adventurous way. So therefore, one should only remember that all we have to do is bombard, All we have to do is bombard. Just like people play, just like, this, these, it's very famous all over the world, and it's we call it as a festival of colors, In the West, we call it as a festival of colors, the Holi, So festival of colors means what, and so we, it's celebrated all over the world. It's very powerful, very attractive. Even Westerners, they come, and there are these different colors, devotees themselves make from atta and all that, different edible also, like that, everybody is just throwing, enjoying, is it not? Bombarding. It's so much of enjoyment, is it not? Some places they celebrate the Pushyabhishek. After the Pushyabhishek, this bombarding takes place, like that. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with all his associates would be there in Narendra Sarovar, and he would also be just splashing water on each other, just bombarding each other with water, just splash it on each other, like that. That's the process. That is the process. It's simple, most powerful, and most powerful and practical. And that's all what we are supposed to do. So when we see there are problems in this world, we just bombard, we just splash Krishna Katha here, there, Prabhupada books, Krishna Katha here, there, everywhere. And we see there is some problem inside, just splash here also, Is it not, Splash outside, splash inside, splash out, splash inside. This is the Acharya's mercy, actually. And this is the Acharya's mercy. And Srila Prahlad Maharaj is giving us this assurance that these practices are so potent that they will make a permanent transformation in our lives. They will make a permanent transformation in our lives. And therefore, in the next verse, Srila Prahlad Maharaj is explaining that this process of Krishna consciousness is very natural. Very natural. So once we get accustomed and acclimatized and tuned in to this process of Krishna consciousness, one can just go on and on and on. On and on and on. And then one would just like to go on and on and on. You know, just like Bhakti Charu Maharaj was saying that, yes, now I have done my service here. And now I'm going to the next service which Prabhupada has for me. You know? The next planet. You know? One can just go on and on and on. You know? And that is what is called as Mama Janmani Janmanishware Bhavatat Bhakti Rahetuki Tvai. And can just go on and on and on. You know? And so we don't have to, so we should, so the most potent message and the appeal which Prahlad Maharaj is offering us here is that these 9 processes of devotional service, this Krishna Katha and the glories of the Supreme Lord should just remember, just go on bombarding outside, inside, and in due course of time, in a very thrilling, exciting, and adventurous manner, we will see ourselves being transported into or being inducted into the eternal service of their lordships, Shri Radha Govinda Dev. Hare Krishna. We'll stop here for today. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। हरे कृष्ण।